I go on to the various centers of excellence that have come up in India. This is a concept initiated about 14 years ago or 13 years ago, starting with Karnal in Haryana, where a major center of excellence was set up. The concept is that once a site is chosen, selected or proposed, then the horticulture mission in Delhi needs to approve the project. The financing comes from both the center and the state governments. Israel does not finance the building of the project, but Israel provides the knowledge, the technology, and the experts who are available on call. There are literally 8 or 10 experts all the time roaming around in India, but between the various centers of excellence, and anyone can leverage them. Now, this is a great concept, and the farmers in Haryana have been really blessed and fortified by this center of excellence in Karnal. I read a report that they've increased their output by a factor of 4, and this was a few years ago. Now it's spread into various states and reached a figure of 31. Some in Maharashtra, some in Gujarat, a few in Karnataka. As you go up north too, you have. One can get information on this, of course, through the website of the Embassy of Israel in New Delhi. In fact, they have a person over there who's in charge of this project. So one can always contact the embassy. As I said, we need to also expose our farmers and young graduates to Israeli water technology and water usage. And steps have to be taken. I will elaborate on that a little later. Exposure to Israeli educational facilities is another aspect, and we have personally been trying to do that for some years now, partially successfully, sending our young boys and girls to study in various institutes or universities in Israel, and also to offer their services on kibbutz, which we will come to a little later. The Mashar program is in fact a highlight of the extension or the outreach program offered by the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Has been doing so for over 40 years. And India is very much part of the equation. Under this program, they invite serious people, mid-management professionals, even certain students who show promise, to a 21-day course in Israel, paid for by the ministry in Israel. And it's an educational course. It's also a professional tour. They take them to various sites based on the subject matter for that particular course. And of course, they include tourism and the rest. So one gets exposure to professionalism in Israel, as well as do some sightseeing and get a feel of the country. So that's something that all of you can certainly apply for. Once again, through the embassy in New Delhi. The concept here is to build a platform for training and transfer of new Israeli technology and increase the output. By going on this program, one simply learns how to. One is exposed to the technology, and just by being there can generate interest. Come to now the Kibbutz Volunteers Program, which is something I was personally involved with for some time. It's a program that runs for a year in which the young man or woman stays on the kibbutz and works there, observes the place, lives there, sees how a kibbutz is run. At the end of the year, he's expected to return and use the expertise and knowledge in areas of agriculture and water back in India. Most unfortunately, this program has been stopped because of the serious allegations of some people trying to run away, as I told Dr. Hari, trying to get into the job market. And this is a no-no. This is one way in which, unfortunately, we have learned to shoot ourselves in the foot. And I believe that the same is happening in certain other countries where people are not following rules, not following the right course of action, going on certificates which are not authentic, and all this. This has to stop, and we seniors should ensure that this happens, because once again, the doors will just keep shutting for us in future. I would like to, at this stage, talk to one of our volunteers, Rishi Ghorpade. Are you there? Can you speak up?
I don't see Rishi's name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then let me get on to my colleague. Get to Omkar Ekhake from Pune. Omkar, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? Omkar?
No, again,
Okay.
alphabetically it's not there. Just not.
Get back to them
Yeah,
a
sure.
little later.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
As I said, sending our young men and women to universities and research centers in Israel is very important. Courses are open from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in Rehovot, from Technion, from Ben Gurion University, from Tel Aviv University, and various other universities. So one has to just find the information on the net, apply to them. A number of people have gone and studied in these places and have come back after having a rewarding experience. This image here is a picture of some of the people talking to our volunteers. I used to visit the kibbutzim at least twice or thrice a year when the programs were on, and be in contact with both the boys and girls as well as with the kibbutz management, just to make sure that anything went off well. So, cooperating with Israel, I'd say the areas to look at are learning about water conservation and desert farming at the best institutes, sending agri graduates and farmers for courses in water management and agriculture in Israel. Permaculture is the latest buzzword. We've all heard about it, talked about it. There are institutions in Israel that offer 21-day courses in permaculture. Extremely worthwhile. They teach you how to maximize the use of land, every square inch of it, maximize the use of water, how to grow in desert conditions, under arid conditions, and I have seen personally a very joyful sight of tomatoes grown in the sand. You know, hard to believe, but this is happening all over the place. So permaculture is something that we have to look at seriously. Study greenhouses and polyhouses and learn about how they can be used in India. There have been successes.
MYK.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Study about polyhouses and greenhouses. We use a lot of them. It's a buzzword here too. But the right methodology is important. So once again, it's not a cheap enterprise. So one shouldn't make mistakes. One should be prepared for them. I've spoken to you about the Mashab program, the volunteers program, and now we are looking into possibilities of a work and learn program for young boys and girls. It will take some time, but pretty sure that something will come about in the next few months. Going forward, to summarize, I'd say the following. Water must be paid for. It's not a fundamental right. It takes a lot of time, effort, and money to get water that we consider free in nature to be made available for you at home, in your workplace, in industry, and in agriculture. Number two, there must be a central water regulatory authority. In Israel, it's called the Water Authority. That should be armed with enough teeth to regulate, plan, and make changes as required. Try to use natural methods of water purification too. Not everything is high-end technology. You can go in for the simpler forms of cleansing water, as has been shown in the case of Ayala Aqua and a few other companies. Rainwater harvesting is something we take for granted. And it's such a pity that in a place like Cherrapunji, which you all learned in geography in school, has the highest rainfall in the year, but somehow or the other, they don't have enough water going around over the year, post the monsoons. So these things need to be looked at on an urgent basis. We know about the problems that are occurring in the Himalayan region, where there are some cracks in the water, in the ice glaciers, and we need to address that right away. Let's not wait. Problems don't wait for us, they simply multiply. The faster we look at that, the better. At the civic level, we need to pay attention more to stop paving pathways and open spaces, and keep enough ground that can soak up water and inject it into the aquifers. This is something that we've been doing in the past, but due to increased population and urbanization, it's now changed, and we have a different scenario completely. I'll end with a slide and a challenge, which I've been considering for some time. These are images of a typical kibbutz in Israel. And a kibbutz is a collective in the traditional sense of the term, where nothing is owned by individuals, it's all owned by the group. Decisions are made through a committee, and purchases, marketing, etc., is centralized and all works through various committees. I was simply wondering and toying with the idea of whether it would be possible to set up a kibbutz in India, just a model kibbutz. I know it's a tough thing because it requires a lot of cooperation. And from my own experience, I find that farmers in India are not in the habit of sharing their land. They're a bit concerned about it. They're conservative in their approach about it. But this is a thought I want to throw to all of you. Do consider. And if it can be done, then we can get in the experts to help us set it up. I'll stop here and await some questions from you, some clarifications that you may want.